Hello everyone, you'll be pleased to hear that after a week-long hiatus, the killer tier list is now about 40% complete. I wasn't going to make another video until it was done, but it's taken a lot out of me, and I promised I'd cover every new update, so here you are. The Chapter 19 PTB is here, and brings with it a new survivor, a new killer, new perks, and a bunch of other things. The devs also released a March mini developer update that I want to go over. Let's start with that. The decisive strike change mentioned in the previous Q&A is now fully implemented and ready to go. Now it deactivates when working on a generator, healing yourself, healing another survivor, cleansing a totem, or sabotaging a hook. It will not deactivate, however, when being healed by someone else or when jumping into a locker. The Wraith is receiving another buff. His base movement speed while cloaked is now a whopping 6 meters per second, up from 5.09 meters per second, and his movement speed whilst uncloaking is now 1.6 meters per second rather than 2.02 meters per second. This will give him a considerable amount of additional map pressure and fits his design really well. The Windstorm add-ons, which previously increased his speed, now have a smaller movement speed bonus and do not reduce uncloaking movement speed. The Blight's point of view is now improved, so he doesn't feel like he's crawling anymore. Colorblind modes are now here for, I'm going to try and pronounce this, Geotaranope, Portanope, Tritanope colorblindness, making the game considerably more accessible. There's no new map in this chapter, and there isn't a map rework either, as they feel they didn't have enough time to finish it off properly. Fine by me, I'd much rather we got fully polished and completed maps rather than half-done efforts. They're still working on improving both the HUD and updated survivor animations, with HUD talk still in progress, and improvements to the idle and injured running animations coming up soon. There are now privacy settings for lobbies, an error message when a DVD friends list is full. I personally didn't realize there was a cap, but there you go. A chat filter for nasty messages, and a whole load of bug fixes. Okay, that's all for the March developer update and the less interesting things from the change list. Let's take a look at the new characters and perks. The Killer. The new Killer is called the Trickster. His ability has him throwing spikes in rapid succession, an ability which my chat pointed out to me is exactly like Hacker Ghostface. And after a certain amount of spikes, players lose a health state. This is a fine ability. It's fun, but I'm not really sure how it's going to play out in regular trials just yet. Some people were complaining about him not fitting the feel of the game, but I think they just don't like him because it's K-pop, so whatever. His music is awesome and extremely vibey, so that's nice, and his perks are all going to be meta. All three. Stage Struck makes all survivors when your terror rate is exposed for 20 seconds when you're carrying a survivor. It also has a cooldown of 90 seconds. Seriously beefy perk. I love it. Hex Crowd Control blocks any window that survivor fast vaults through for 10 seconds. Once again, seriously beefy. No Way Out gives you a token each time a survivor is hooked for the first time, so a maximum of 4 tokens, and blocks both exit gate switches for 10 seconds for each token, so 40 seconds. Again. Beefy. These are all interesting perks that don't feel overpowered without feeling underpowered and will play well with many existing strats. Very cool. Mori. Yes. Let's go. That's cool. That was alright. That was neat. The Survivor. Not a whole lot to say about the Survivor other than her looking pretty different to other survivors. As a music industry-y person, I imagine we'll be getting a lot of really cool cosmetics for her when the chapter comes out proper. Her perks are Fast Track, which gives you 1 token each time a survivor is hooked. All tokens are consumed after a great skill check is completed on a generator, and each token consumed grants a 3% bonus to progression, so a maximum of 33% bonus progression. Smash Hit is a new exhaustion perk, which breaks you out into a sprint when stunning the killer with a pallet. It makes you exhausted and cannot be used during exhaustion. Finally, Self-Preservation stops you from leaving scratch marks for 6 seconds when a survivor within 12 meters of you gets hit. I'm not too sure about these perks personally. I think they're interesting, but not likely to be meta. Smash Hit is probably going to be considered the worst exhaustion perk, as it's very situational that you'd want to use your exhaustion chance in a chase right after dropping a pallet, as that's sort of an action that happens towards the end of chases, but oh well. Still cool. All in, this looks to be a really interesting chapter with an aesthetic and setting very different to what we're used to. They're really changing things up for this one, and that's pretty neat. As well as the names on screen right now, I'd like to thank Gem Rushers Club and Minions of the Entity members Lewis Hernan, Rissin, Merciless Cheeseburger, Just a Pigeon, Santi Gamer, Ramirez, Spike Pro, Josh Archer, and Alia E. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later this week for the killer tier list. This is for you, chat. There you go.